Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Frenemies of the People by CBL. It's just me, so maybe we should call this the mini-me's. Producer Grace will probably tell me that's ridiculous, but we'll see. So Eleni and Natalie and Patrick are on assignment. We hope to get the whole group together later this week to discuss our various observations and our love-hate relationship with politics in Chicago and Illinois that we just can't quit. Talk a little about the media, but wanted to make sure we got in and posted up so that you know we care. We care about you, our loyal viewers slash listeners. So I thought we'd run through a few of the big stories that people are talking about this week, that we'll be talking about this week. So the couple of big stories in the news on this Veterans Day, and we love our veterans and we thank them for their service and we thank them for our freedom. But it appears, according to the Tribune, that the ICE surge of troopers are possibly pulling out of Chicago. We shall see if that is indeed the case. Jason Meisner and Caroline Kobzanski at the Tribune report that the agents are leaving. Maybe it's because winter is coming. There was a lake effect snow this week, which is also a big thing to talk about. Commander Gregory Bovino, according to sources telling the Tribune, he's getting another assignment elsewhere in the country. This is perhaps why they did a photo op in front of the Bean. Block Club Chicago reported that and ran their own photo of their photo op team selfie, and it was, as disappointing as you would expect. Instead of saying cheese, they all said Little Village, according to Block Club. And as they exited their odd celebratory photo op, Bovino called a reporter from Block Club, the Chicago Liars Club, and he questioned the publication's coverage of federal immigration operations in the city. And Block Club quotes him as saying, "How come you never report on the work we do to improve the community?" Well, maybe they're distracted by the fact that over the weekend they maced a 1-year-old baby. I don't know. Anyway.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good riddance.
Bye-bye, Bovino, hopefully. Meanwhile, it appears, Producer Grace, that the government is very close to coming back online after the longest shutdown in U.S. history. And Illinois Senior Senator Dick Durbin, who is retiring, plays a central role in getting a temporary budget deal through, and he's taking some heat. And the interesting political observation there, Producer Grace, is that all these people that wanted the senator's endorsement, he's a very long-running, popular U.S. senator representing Illinois, are now getting a little bit nervous about being associated with them, since so many of the Democrats on Congress, especially those on the left, thought that the moderate Democrats who came across the aisle to pass this budget caved. Those are short-term political anxieties. I think, in my view, Senator Durbin has been at his best in his long career when he's made those tough votes and those tough decisions that over the long balance of time hold up well, but maybe in the short term there's some political hits that you take. The good news is that hopefully air traffic controllers, who are playing a pivotal role in keeping us all safe as the holiday travel season is about to start up, they'll be getting paid. SNAP benefits will be getting to low-income families. So, on balance, a difficult decision, but one that I think that will, when we look back many years from now, we'll think that the senator did the right thing. But we'll see, Producer Grace.
Here's hoping.
President Clinton famously complained way back in the early part of his administration in the 90s, in his first term, that the bond markets had too much sway, too much say on his reelection and his programs. And in fact, his political advisor, who's still very active political pundit, James Carville, told the Wall Street Journal at the time, quote, "I used to think that if there was reincarnation, I wanted to come back as president or the Pope or a 400 baseball hitter, but now I want to come back as the bond market. You can intimidate everybody." Well, Mayor Johnson, here over at City Hall, is getting a taste of that. The Chicago Tribune editorial over the weekend was Mayor plays fast and loose with Chicago's credit standing. And at the same time, there are services that the city provides that no one else can provide. But the decision to balance the city budget in the way that he is doing is creating a lot of debate at City Hall. The more conservative members of the council believe that we're using our Visa to pay our MasterCard. So the Tribune in this editorial says that the city is facing a likely downgrade by the rating agencies. So if you think about what that means the cost of borrowing goes up. That means the cost of everything in the city goes up. And the editorial in the old school newspaper points out all the different ways that becomes difficult. And this is a newspaper, Producer Grace. You remember, because you used to see that a lot. I had a neighbor one time that said it looks like I'm out of town for a week every day. But the S&P said we are watching as the fiscal 2026 budget negotiations advance over the coming weeks to assess the credit significance of the final budget. And absent a significant change in the approach to achieving structural balance, we believe the probability of a downgrade remains elevated into the fiscal 2027 budget. So the Tribune pointing out that the city is on the razor's edge in terms of their credit rating as they manage to pass this budget. Now, getting back to the pressures that the mayor faces, and I think being mayor is a very difficult job. And if you think about his base, they want more city services. And there's debate about what the city should and should not be spending money on. But in the same edition that the editorial board was criticizing the mayor's budget process, there was a report about the domestic violence program the city has to rehouse victims who are trying to get out of abusive situations. And there was a story about a woman named Tonielle Taylor, and they did change her name for her protection and not show her face in the story, the photos that accompanied the story. But a stalker broke into her home, attacked her in her bedroom as her 4-year-old was nearby, beat her and tried to stab her in the neck. Fortunately, the police got there, and she was saved, although wounded. And she's a beneficiary of this program, which got a lot of funding from COVID relief money and other sources. And now there's concerns that that program, like many other programs, is on the chopping block. So it's easy to stand from afar and say the city spends too much money, but then you look at a program like that, and perhaps an ounce of prevention or a penny of prevention is worth a pound of cure. back to Senator Durbin, he was quoted as on the floor saying, "Many of my friends are unhappy. They think we should have kept our government closed indefinitely to protest the policies of the Trump administration. I share their opinions of this administration, but cannot accept a strategy that wages political battles at the expense of my neighbors' paychecks or food for their children." So a lot of tough decisions, Grace, from these elected officials who spend a lot of time and money and effort to get elected, and then they get some really critical points like this. Hey, I know you're very excited about another quantum computer coming to Chicago, according to Cranes and other sources. A company called IonQ is going to build a quantum computer at the University of Chicago and have $100 million to help fund research and engineering. And they join IBM, which is installing one of its quantum computers at Hyde Park Labs. So it's quantum or bust, Producer Grace.
Is it gonna tell the future?
I think the quantum is the future. They also require a lot of energy and data centers. But that's for a conversation maybe when we get the whole team together. So, Producer Grace, do you know who else is winning besides quantum computers?
I do not.
Besides computer nerds, you've got Chicago sports. So the Cubs made the playoffs. Of course, we talked about that. 3 players in recent days got gold gloves, 3 Cubs players. The Bears have a winning record. As we talk right now, they are likely, if the playoffs started today, they would be in the playoffs. They could still blow it, but on this day, the Bears are winning. The Cubs have already had a very solid winning season. Blackhawks are winning. Connor Bedard, red hot, got a bunch of points over the weekend. The Bulls have also been winning. They scuffled a little bit this week because their starting guard is injured. We even have a former Chicago area kid, Stan Kapka, former Northwestern University quarterback, who is now interim head coach of the New York Giants after he got whacked after losing to the Bears. So there's a lot of winning going on. And I think that is an appropriate way to wrap up this mini-me's. What do you think, Producer Grace? Is winning a good way to end our conversation?
I think it's good to end on a high note.
So support your local news. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll hopefully see you later this week with the whole crew to chop up more news and politics and media. Have a good one.